Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be doing another beginner's guide to the first 5 minutes. For this video we're going to have Abbasid as the civilization to talk about here. I am planning to do a bigger series later on, which is just going to be like a more extensive version of these little videos where it's like how to play Abbasid, how to play English. I'm planning to do one video like that for every civilization. And I'm also planning to do, this short 5-minute kind of beginner guide to the first 5 minutes for every civilization as well, just to give you guys a good idea of how to play each civ and a bit more of an extensive guide with the next series of videos I'm planning as well. So it should be really interesting, but without further ado, let's hop into it. And we're going to be playing as the AI here on Dry Arabia. I'm going to pretty much be giving you a little bit of a guide for the first 5 minutes. You can do a whole lot of different build orders and strategies with Abbasid, but I'm going to give the most straightforward from what I know, and really just like a really basic way to open up every game. And it's consistent, like this works at the highest level as well. Like don't think it's just like only for beginners. It's really just good for beginners, but also good for high level players as well. So we're going to start pretty standard. You go for the 6 on sheep immediately, pick up more sheep, and then the next one we're going to go right away to gold. So how I see the Abbasid, keep in mind you have to build the House of Wisdom in Dark Age. That's kind of like the big thing with the civilization. So we're gonna immediately go to gold. Go to gold. We're gonna go with just 2 villagers. The reason why we want to go to gold early is that we don't necessarily want to build gold units in the feudal age with Abbasid. So your standard strategy is going to be to go like horsemen or to go archers or spears, and you don't want that many on gold. So by going only 2 to gold early, we're going to have less on gold, and it's just going to get us that 200 that we need just to be able to click up to the feudal age from the House of Wisdom. The next one is going to go ahead and make a house here, and again, I'm not going to stress too much the build orders, but mostly just like that, like the order that you need to do the first few things. But after that, as far as build order goes, it's not really that important. So I'm going to go ahead and build a House of Wisdom. Excuse me, a house first, then a House of Wisdom. I was thinking of house, and I thought House of Wisdom, but a house first, then House of Wisdom. And you might think I'm pop capped, but I'm not actually. Next villagers will be going to wood. I'm not actually pop capped. Once I build the house, there it is. I should be good. I'm pop capped for a couple of seconds, but that's not a huge deal at all. And we're just going to be scouting for more sheep as usual. I usually like to just scout in a circle, but you can go ahead and scout your opponent fast as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a lumber camp on the wood. And then after we build a House of Wisdom, I'm going to go and send that guy to wood right away as well. And one thing I want to also stress, by the way, is that because we have 2 on gold, we're actually going to keep those on gold, and they're going to let us get fresh food stuff from the House of Wisdom as soon as we hit feudal age, which makes our villagers cost half food, or half the food. It's this one here, fresh food stuff. That costs 125 gold, so that's the amount of gold we're saving up as well. Alright, so the next few villagers will simply go to wood until you're able to click up, basically. And the reason why we're going to invest a little bit more into wood than normal is simply because Abbasid is pretty wood heavy in terms of the unit compositions it goes for. Like spears, archers, horsemen, everything costs wood. And so you're going to need a good amount of wood there and kind of less on gold. And once you get the fresh food stuff, you don't need as much food for your villagers anyway. So it's actually better to get a little bit more wood in than the usual civilizations, I suppose you can say. So I'm going to go with a few more on wood here, probably like 2 more. And then I'm going to go ahead and click up using the economic wing here. Very important to go for the economic wing because that's the best early game upgrade to really get, the cheaper villagers. Super important. The other ones are not bad, but they're more for like later on in the game. Like the culture wing might be like pretty good as well. But yeah, that's more for later on in the game. And with your scout, as with all civilizations, you want to scout and constantly look for sheep as well because that's going to be very healthy for you. Let's do one more villager here. The important thing is that we get, like I said, a good amount of villas on wood here. We really want to get, a decent amount of wood in. And then once you have, like, let's say, once you have close to clicking up, then you go back over to the food. And that's going to get us the perfect setup here. Let's go ahead and click up, excuse me. That's going to get us the perfect setup once we get to the feudal age. And I'll show you what it looks like here. We'll be able to afford military production buildings. We'll be able to even afford a second TC now if you want to as well. You can start mining stone if you want to go for a second town center. It really depends on what you feel like doing here. And like I said, this isn't really a build order. It's really just like a small little guide that you guys can use to help get you through that early game with Abbasid. Going to bring in more sheep here and continue making villas to the sheep and to the food. And as far as the different food stores, I would recommend you guys go to berries next instead of looking for instead of looking for your deer, just go to your berries, because the Abbasid, once you build a mill near the berries actually have double the food in them, and you gather them twice as fast as well. Or I think twice as fast. Yeah, I think so you gather them faster. No, I think twice as fast is not correct actually, but you do gather them faster. Sorry, I should know these things, but no, it's 25% faster, I believe. So that's the next food source you should go for here, and don't forget to build houses around your house of wisdom as well. And this is one reason why you need a good amount of wood, because you need to get your buildings down near your house of wisdom. So we're gonna go ahead and get our mill probably here, seems fine. And that's the big thing with Abbasid here. You want to connect your buildings to where you're able to use the House of Wisdom special effect, and that is why getting extra wood is really helpful as well. So not only with the with the units and all that stuff, it also lets you get more buildings. So that's good. So we have like 7 once those 2 buildings are done, and then once we connect with houses to the mill and maybe production buildings, so we're gonna get a house here, and then maybe a production building like a barracks. We'll make a range just to show you like an archer opening, for example. We'll make 1 range. And by the way, feel free to get wood upgrades or like eco upgrades. Just depends on what you want to do here. Like, you can pick this up or not. It's really just up to you. Whatever eco upgrade you want to get, like wheelbarrow, feel free to get them. But my recommendation is definitely get fresh food stuff. It's by far the best economic upgrade to get with Abbasid. So make sure you get this, and then anything extra that you have floating around, then you can get other upgrades. So we're going to go ahead and get fresh food stuff here. And then right away, we're going to drop a range. So we're going to go ahead and pick up that range here. And then a house. And that should be enough for Golden Age number 1. And that's this, that's a bonus you want to rush into pretty much. So feel free to make more houses than normal just to pick that up faster, because it gives your villager gather rate plus 10% for all resources. So that's pretty huge. So once we get our range down, or our house down, fantastic. It's Golden Age tier 1. And that's going to be the end of the video. At this point, like I said, you can get eco upgrades, you can make archers, you can make a barracks. There's a lot of things you could do, and there's a lot of directions you could take yourself to. But remember, more wood for Abbasid is generally a really good thing, because you get to that Golden Age tier 1 a lot faster, and you get to double down on production of like archers and spears and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of the main thing about Abbasid that's different than other civs. It's really just getting the House of Wisdom down, going for economic wing, getting fresh food stuff, and then also rushing Golden Age tier 1. Your economy is fantastic, and then you can focus on putting down the pressure with archers and spears, and maybe go for a ram push because you don't require siege engineers. So feel free to enjoy the civ. 2TC opening is very viable. Spear and archer opening is viable. Horseman opening is viable. Pretty much whatever you want. Just make sure to rush fresh food stuff, and make sure to rush Golden Age tier 1. That's the 2 advice I have. 2 biggest advices. Advices? 2 biggest things I would definitely advise you guys to do with this civilization. So that's gonna be it for now. Take care, and hope you guys enjoy the video. I'll see you next time. Peace.